Chavitos, ¿se acuerdan de esto? Uno de los crímenes más horribles que ha habido en la historia de la humanidad. Una chavita ucraniana, refugee de la guerra de Ucrania, que literalmente salió de uno de los bunkers para escapar del bombardeo ruso, brothers, en Ucrania. Llegó aquí de refugee a Estados Unidos y en Charlotte el 22 de agosto, este hijo de la mega chintola, brothers, le tocó a ella, pues se sentó enfrente de él y él por odio simplemente la desvivió de la forma más tremenda. Pues ahora el update, de hecho es un video acerca de esto, lo pueden ir a ver, di muchos datos. El update de todo esto, lo que está pasando es que ahora, gracias a Dios y a la justicia que hay en este país, se va a buscar la pena de ya saben qué, de desvivimiento, brothers. Y le van a poner cargos federales y lo van a tratar de desvivir. No es justo que se hagan este tipo de cosas, brothers. Fue totalmente con alevosía y ventaja. Ella estaba totalmente desprevenida. Ella iba tranquila de regreso a su casa. Vamos a ver lo que dijeron los encargados de este asunto.
It was a very touching call. Our hearts go out to them. She is a refugee. She literally came to the United States from a bomb shelter in Ukraine to escape the war, and she was going about her day. She was coming home from work on a light rail train, like all of us do all the time, and she was brutally murdered. As a native of Charlotte, I'm so sad to say that our city has gotten to this place. I was born here. I grew up here. I remember when the light rail was built. I remember the development it spurred. I remember the excitement. And to think now that you can't even feel comfortable riding that train hits me deep.
Es algo que quiero decir. Al que no se le salgan las lágrimas o le tiemble el pecho o algo así, es porque de veras es muy frío. Pero esto, brother, es lo peor que le puede pasar a alguien. O sea, que le hagan esto a alguien de esta forma, cuando ella nada más no estaba trabajando para sobrevivir. Hasta a estos oficiales que han visto de lo peor, brothers, se les parte el alma. O sea, a cualquiera se le parte el alma, brothers. Está cañón.
Rail brought this city access to jobs, access to education. People could take the train to college. It really put Charlotte on the map. And this incident has really, really injured that. Now, to Carlos Brown Jr., who we allege stabbed Erna Sarutska, is in state custody on first-degree murder charges. But I'm here today to announce that we're going to supplement those state charges with federal charges. These federal charges will go alongside the murder case in state court, and we hope that they will ensure justice for Erna, for her family, and for the whole Charlotte community. The charge we are bringing is in Title 18, which is the criminal code. It's Section 1992A7, which is the law that Congress passed really for this situation. It is an act of violence on a mass transportation system. It is a law that is there because acts like this affect the American way. It affects our daily life. It is random acts on a train that are the thoroughbred and how we get through our cities to work, to our places of education, to our families. It is our way of American life. Crime makes people stop taking that light rail. They give up those opportunities, and we are here to be sure that we can save our city and bring those opportunities back. The maximum penalty for this federal crime is life in prison without parole or the death penalty. Of course, each individual case receives its own sentencing hearing by a federal judge that will decide the sentence based on the individual factors in this case. Of course, at this point, we're only making allegations. We do have a charge. We filed a criminal complaint. It has been signed by a federal judge. The charges have been brought, but they are just charges. Getting there has been a process. I want to thank the FBI, which has an incredible team that has investigated this case. They've ensured we had a basis for federal charges. I want to thank the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department that started this investigation, apprehended the defendant immediately after the incident happened at the light rail station. And I want to thank the District Attorney's Office and Spencer Merriweather, who brought first-degree murder charges right away when this happened. I think everyone knows the facts of this case, but I will briefly recitate what is in our criminal complaint. And that is that at 9:55 on August 22nd, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department responded to a call that there had been a stabbing on a light rail train. They located the victim, who had been suffered stab wounds in her neck, on her hand. They found a pocket knife on the scene, and they apprehended the defendant at the rail stop. Now, much more recently, the surveillance video was obtained from the train, and that's really what gave us the basis for federal charges here. And the surveillance video shows Irina Zarudska getting on the train by herself in her work uniform, sitting down by herself in a row that just happened to be in front of DeCarlos Brown Jr. Approximately 4 minutes later, Mr. Brown pulled out a pocket knife. You see him on video open that pocket knife, and he stabbed her 3 times in the neck. He then walked off the train with blood dripping from the knife. This is obviously a horrible, horrible situation.
Ahí hasta se le quiebra la voz porque está cañón, brothers.
But this is why federal statutes exist. They exist to take care of situations like this because no one should sit in fear when they sit on the light rail. If you sit in fear on the light rail, you sit in fear when you walk around the streets of our center city like I do every day. You sit in fear when you go to our parks like I do with my daughter every weekend. You sit in fear at our sporting events, our entertainment venues, at concerts, at restaurants, at our museums. These are all the things that we have worked as a city so hard to build. We built this city. Companies have come here in droves. More than 150 people move here every day. We built a city that people want to live in, but we can lose that all if we allow violent crime like this to go on in our streets. And I'm here to tell you, the federal government is going to save our city from that.
Especialmente ahora que Trump le está poniendo un alto a todo el crimen, brothers. O sea, imagínense. O sea, especialmente ahorita. Y es el presidente que necesitamos. No podemos continuar con este tipo de cosas, brothers. Es terrible. O sea, no hay palabras que lo describan.
To Erna's family, we will pursue justice. We will use the full weight of the law. I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate your attention to this case. I know this has gotten national attention. I know that there is a lot of thoughts about this case. There's policy decisions being made because of this case. But as someone who just talked to the family of the victim, I hope you'll remember her. Because this is hard for them. It's their case, and we will bring justice here.
No me puedo ni siquiera imaginar lo que está pensando la familia. Que la vieron salir a la niña a trabajar y no regresa. Y no la va a volver a ver nunca. Y luego cuando ves las escenas de lo que pasó, la carita de terror con la que ella lo voltea a ver después de que le dio los... No.
I'll now turn it over to Special Agent in Charge Barnacle.
A violent, heinous act that occurred on our metro system. This could have happened to any young person that was riding the train that night, but it didn't. It happened to Irina, and her death is an absolute tragedy. There's no one who will debate that point. Even more tragic, she chose to come to Charlotte to escape the violence of her war-torn home in Ukraine. Irina had settled into her community. She made friends. She immediately got a job. The first day she was allowed to work, and she got a work permit here, she got a job that very first day. She worked at a senior citizen center. She worked at a pizza place.
Imagínense, trabajaba para un asilo de ancianos también, brothers. Y trabajaba para una pizzería. Y también ayudaba a los animales. O sea, era una niña linda, de 22 añitos. Estaba empezando a vivir, caray.
Took care of animals in the neighborhood. She was building her young life. She had recently moved in with her partner. Her family let us know she graduated from college in Kyiv with a degree in art and restoration. We don't know the extent of what obstacles she faced in the Ukraine, other than we did learn just a few moments ago that she was living in a bomb shelter. Sadly, everyone saw in surveillance video how tragic her life ended. We're shocked, we're saddened. It's very, very difficult. This young lady rode that train many times. She was probably tired after a long day at work and just trying to get home to her loved ones, but she never made it. In an instant, her life was over, and her mother, her father, her siblings, her brother and sister, and her other family and friends, their lives will never be the same. As you heard from U.S. Attorney Ferguson, we spoke with Erna's mother, Anna, and her uncle just a few minutes ago, and we told them of the federal charges brought against Carlos Brown Jr. We hope this additional charge will help bring them a measure of justice and accountability for this horrific act.
Ahí está. Qué horror. No tengo palabras. No puedo ni hablar. Eso estuvo horrible, brothers. Y bueno, pues lo bueno es que aquí en este país hay justicia y este hijo de su no se va a salir, no va a volver a pisar las calles para volver a dañar a nadie, brothers. Esto no se vale. Fue lo peor que ha pasado en la historia del transporte público, de la historia en cualquier lugar, caray. Por favor, comenten, déjenme saber qué piensan de esto. Por lo menos estos cargos podrían traer un poquito de justicia a la familia, caray, más que nada, y al novio. Está cañón. Suscríbanse, por favor, chavitos, compartan para que este mensaje le llegue a más gente y me ayuden a seguir despertando zombies. Y no se les olvide que los amo. ¡Mua!